Now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win. Save our hotline number. We'd love to connect with you, 813-917-1894. Call or text our hotline, 813-917-1894. Any questions, comments you have from the show, we'd love to connect with you. And we appreciate all who do. Last week we had a lot of calls, people calling in, wanting to find out more about their real estate investments, mortgage opportunities with Diane Vance, and some of our other show partners. Just lots of calls coming in. We greatly appreciate those folks that support the local economy by supporting our 80-plus categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. ConsumerQB.com is the website as well. We got a great show for you today. Captain Will Smith in studio. We're going to tackle everything from 5G and aviation, how that's affecting the aviation. We're going to talk about the movie, the update on the movie, Falling from the Sky, the movie happening here in Tampa Bay. Going to be filmed locally, and some pretty cool stuff happening in that space. Plus, we're going to dive into a little bit of stuff, more politics related than we normally do, but you got companies like Google and some of the big tech companies seem to be aligning more with China than they are supporting the good old American sovereign here, the United States of America. So we're going to touch on that, as well as some other stuff related to Joe Rogan and censorship as well. So we have a great lineup for you here. We appreciate you hanging out with us. This segment's brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Stephen and Lisa Gunnan, longtime friends of the program. I love going in there at least once a month, and I get a vitamin infusion drip directly into my bloodstream, and it's all kinds of good vitamins, nutrients, B's, C's, all the good stuff going into your body, directly into your bloodstream, and it's going to help boost your immunity, help you fight off some of those, of course, these viruses that are floating around. Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show, and make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, we like to feature our real estate listings. As you know, we are a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and we like to feature our listings live on air. I'm actually teaching a class this Friday as well. Anybody out there want to join us? I'm teaching Win with Sellers, how to win with sellers class over at the Clearwater Keller Williams office. So we'd love to connect with you there if you're open or you want to come check it out. We got a hot listing at 5014 Pompano Drive. This is in Newport Richey. Gulf Harbors, waterfront, canal front, pool, boat dock, bay access, beautiful property. This is a great opportunity to live that Florida lifestyle to the fullest. Almost 1,700 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, completely renovated. Beautiful property, granite countertops throughout, circle driveway, corner lot as well, and it's right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Captain Will Smith in the house. Welcome back, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
So it is.
good to see you, man.
After 12. Good to see you.
Falling from the Sky, Ditches to Riches, published 2 books. You're a successful pilot as well out there. And the latest thing in the world of aviation is this 5G. What's everybody talking about?
Well, with the 5G, it's, as you know, everything works on frequencies and megahertz and things like that, whether it's cell phones, radar altimeters, radios, it all comes together. And if you have one transponder putting out the same megahertz as another, you can have interference. How is this applicable to the commercial airlines? Well, it's generally more applicable to helicopters that use radar altimeters to hover over the ground, or maybe in low visibility approaches, because they when they're shooting their approaches, they shoot them a lot slower versus the airplane has a wing, and the wing creates a lift. They have a wing, but it's propeller spinning really, really fast.
Right.
So with these bigger aircrafts, some of them have auto land. And auto land allows the pilots to have a complete hands-off experience. The plane will virtually land and stop itself on the runway.
Wow.
Using things like thrust reversers, wing spoilers, braking action, the whole 9 yards. Where this comes into effect is the 5GC that they have. The FAA over the past couple of years, due to all the mandates and not having enough resources, haven't really tested it as well as they should have on how that 5G interferes with the radar altimeters on the aircraft and other devices that are on that same frequency level to help with the slowing, deceleration, and stopping of the autoland that's on these aircraft, such as the 737 MAX, 747s, 777s, the bigger transport aircraft. And of course, they always have to do so many autolands per month to keep everything, to make sure it's working in case they need it. Right now, what they're telling people in terminal areas where these 5G cell towers are, that they're putting out NOTAMs, which are notices to airmen, for us guys that are flying around, knowing that there are 5G services there. Probably shouldn't use those type of technologies right now around until we get it resolved. Now, the FAA has, and on Monday, issued another AD, which is an airworthiness directive, covering 5G interference that prohibits Boeing 747-8, Boeing 747-8Fs, and the Boeing 777 airplanes from landing at airports where 5G interfaces could occur. The 737 MAX is also one of those. Well, what is an airworthiness directive? It's something that comes in and tells the pilots, hey, you cannot use this particular function right now in this particular area. And that's generally going to be around international airports and terminal areas. Does this affect us as travelers? Not really, because we're not going to be doing zero approach landings. But if they were to do it for their whole purpose of testing and make sure the autoland works, they're suggesting not to. Because what it will do in an aircraft, what is a radar altimeter? It literally tells the pilots or in the aircraft how far it is from the runway. Versus the normal altimeter that you would see in an aircraft, which gives MSL, which is mean sea level, meaning how far the aircraft is using barometric pressure from sea level. Where is that important? You're flying around in the mountains. You want to know how far you are from the ground, not sea level, because you can see what would happen there if you were thinking that you're at zero and you really weren't. You'd literally fly the plane right into the mountain.
Yeah, that's pretty scary stuff, man. You look at, what's happening through 5G, and there's also, I remember before it even came out, there was a lot of articles about just the health, how it would affect your health. I mean, these are pretty serious waves that are coming through the body. I of course don't know how to explain it from a scientific perspective, but it's it's very similar too. If you're putting in these earbuds all the time, people will just walk around. There's no long-term testing on these earbuds. The ones that are kind of going through,
it could cause
the wireless
brain tumors. It could cause, who knows what it could cause with these waves or microwaves, or I always have the speaker when I'm walking around, even though it irritates people around me. I don't want to put this thing close to my head.
Right.
And they've even said when you're sleeping at night, keep your phone 5 feet from your head.
Yeah.
Keep it away from you.
That's true.
So it's kind of one of those things that I don't even want the phone close to my head because I don't know what the long-term effects of that are.
Right, yeah. And there's no testing. And the big corporations, one thing we learned from these big corporations, they're not going to tell you.
They don't care.
They don't care. They don't care when it comes to injecting something into your body. We found it out this year. I'm going to play a clip here. Let's go with, let's start with the pharmaceuticals. I want to talk about this one.
You believe that some of the biggest and most powerful and respected names in pharmaceuticals, and that would be Pfizer and Moderna and others, are essentially modern versions of Enron. Is that your theory of the case?
Correct. And I want to liken what's gone on here to what happened in the great financial crisis. We had rating agencies, third-party verification sources that were able to perpetuate the fraud because the money got too big. Their institutions became corrupted with the institutional imperative, and they got AAA ratings, which we all know in hindsight, those were not AAA ratings. Let's move forward to today. The FDA is the trusted third-party verification of pharmaceutical products. 50% of their budget comes from pharma, and I believe due to the institutional imperative that was in place at the time, that and the speed with which they tried to approve these products with this unproven technology, fraud did occur. And what's my proof of that? The FDA, together with Pfizer, are trying to hide the clinical data. And it's come out recently, in late fall, maybe end of summer, that the all-cause mortality endpoint for the Pfizer product failed. What does that mean? Well, that means there were more deaths in the vaccine group than the placebo group.
More deaths in the vaccine group than the placebo group. So think about the FDA, 50% of the budget coming from the pharmaceutical companies. Where's their motivation factor, right? Who's buttering their bread is the old saying, right? And then you got clinical data showing that. And then also, it reminds me of Dr. Robert Malone coming out with these different ideas and different, takes, so to speak, as far as against the common narrative of the government, the pharmaceutical, they talk about the media complex, they talk about the defense complex, the media complex, so it's a lot of misinformation, and it's coming from the government.
Well, of course, and it's like any government. Like when I was incarcerated in prison, they never wanted to admit when they were wrong. Mm-hmm. Even they knew they were wrong. I proved to them they were wrong. They still would not admit when they were wrong.
Right.
And this goes on all levels of government, not just state or county, but our federal government. And they know what they've done to the American people and how they forced them with these mandates. They screwed up big time. And now they're starting to backpedal like, well, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And then they're looking at the pharmaceutical companies, and the pharmaceutical companies are looking, now it's a hot potato. Yep. And what I'm scared of, and what's really going to be horrible, is we see what this does long term after 5 years.
Yeah. Well, there's a big bubble coming, too. I got a clip I'll play in the next segment about the bubble coming, because you saw what happened with the .com in the banking industry meltdown in 2008, and then now you've got it in central banks working with it, so the federal governments, the Fed, for example. So there's a big bubble coming, and it's going to happen. It's going to shake its way out, and there's going to be a big whiplash from that, and people potentially rioting. That's why people were buying guns and ammo. So it's interesting. You look at all this coming to a head, and, of course, you got the Chinese Communist Party Olympics. Why would we allow that country to be able to host such a money-making event after what they just did 2 years ago with releasing this virus, and so there's a lot of people, of course, talking about gain of function, and Fauci lied, and all the different aspects there. I want to get your take on that when we come back. On the flip side, I also want to talk about the movie. We got Falling from the Sky movie coming here to Tampa Bay, going to be filmed somewhat in Florida, I believe, but some maybe out of state as well. We'll dive into that.
Out of country,
yeah. That's right. Bahamas. Good stuff coming up here with Captain Will Smith in studio, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And follow us online. We would love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, at Gitter as well, and also our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty on YouTube. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Hey, Margie here with the Consumer Quarterback Show and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying, selling, or investing, please give us a shot. We would love to help you. We are a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and you can reach us at 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550. ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, The Business Journal. We're looking for inventory. Attention sellers, we need more inventory to sell. If you're a seller on the fence thinking about selling your property, we want to hear from you. Free comparable market analysis. Check out consumerqb.com.
Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here at the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, featuring our listings live on air. We help our sellers profit more and sell faster. 4823 Ebbtide Lane. This is a penthouse condo overlooking the water, riverfront, bay access. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. 4823 Ebbtide Lane, unit number 405. You got a 1,100 square foot, 1-bedroom, 2-bath. Could easily be converted back to a 2-bedroom as well. Beautiful opportunity here to overlook the Gulf of Mexico on the Cody River, and it's just a nice wide open floor plan. You've got huge balcony out there. I think the balcony is about 30 by 30, just a huge place to have some parties out there. Great opportunity to purchase real estate. 4823 Ebbtide Lane in Port Richey, Florida, unit number 405, and also another commercial property at 820 Pinellas Avenue in Tarpon Springs. 820 Pinellas Avenue, Tarpon Springs is a corner lot location, great for a business. Relocate your business to this corner lot location on Pinellas Avenue in Tarpon Springs. It's currently set up as a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, could be a rental property or a nice corner lot location for a commercial business. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by our friends at Chad Irrigation. Victor and his team at Chad Irrigation. They do such a great job for all of your irrigation needs, sprinkler systems. Give them a call. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we got our friend Captain Will Smith in studio. He's a published author and also a pilot as well. He owns Will Smith Aviation. Check him out online, willsmithaviation.com. And Will, right before the break, we're kind of touching on a couple of points. You want to pick up on where we left off there?
We were talking a little bit about the movie and a little bit about aviation. One of the things that I've noticed, just finishing up the aviation part, is there's been a lot of younger, maturing adults that don't know what they want to do for their career. The advice I can give, and maybe there's a parent out there listening, your child just not really sure what industry they want to get into because they're not sure where these industries are headed. Aviation right now is where to be. Right now, the private sector that I fly in, all the time, 100% of the time, we're always looking for good pilots, competent pilots, going through the training program, finishing up their accelerated courses they take at Embry-Riddle or any other 141 training school. So get in there because they're looking for mechanics, they're looking for pilots, they're looking for flight attendants, they're looking for airport managers. It's a huge market right now, and if your friend or son or daughter just not sure what they want to do, tell them to reach out to me. I can point them in the right direction as far as that. So we're having a nice career where you can get full benefits, only work 2 weeks out of the month. It was the best decision I ever made. I just love sharing my story with others that are still looking to do something that's going to make them feel a lot more. It's more fulfilling, if you will.
Yeah.
Less time off.
And the kids too, coming out of high school. I think there's so much pressure over the years to go to a college, go to a university, and then of course that's a leftist indoctrination camp in a lot of places. A lot of times you go there, and how many times you hear the story of the kids coming back from their freshman year, or sophomore year, coming back to their traditional conservative family that brought them up, raised them with love, paid for their trip to Gainesville or wherever they went to. Right, and then they come back with all these leftist ideas. These teachers are indoctrinating kids about how bad our country is and the critical race theory and a lot of this garbage that's being poured into them.
They're just brainwashing
them to be loyal leftist
the airlines
voters.
Delta is not even requiring. They used to require a 4-year college degree. They're not even doing that now.
Yeah.
They're in such a big need. And there's a lot of things that they're teaching in college are not even applicable to aviation whatsoever.
Right.
So I'm like, if you're going to go somewhere and you wanted to get a degree, go to Embry-Riddle. Go to one of these places that are going to teach you something and get a degree in something that your field is.
Well, there's one here local, too, that's actually a supporter of 860 The Answer. I forgot the name of them, but they're right here in St. Petersburg. So they're a supporter of our station, a flight school or something
they're
like
St. Pete Aviation or flights. They have a training company course right there in
National Aviation Academy.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, thanks, Jose. So so you're flying a lot to the Bahamas. Talk a little bit about what's happening down there.
Well, I just got back from the Bahamas, and I'll tell you what, what? It's colder than I've ever wished the Bahamas would be.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure when I got off the plane that I was in the Bahamas. Did I go far enough south? Yeah. But this is the time of year the Bahamians go on vacation. You know where they go? They go to the Exumas. So, but it was nice. It was Nassau. It was really, really windy. We had gust up to like 25 miles an hour while I was coming in, and when I got off the plane, I was like, "Brr!" I wasn't ready for it. I was hoping to be a little humid, a little bit warmer. So part of the film that we're doing and filming is going to be in the Bahamas because we changed the treatment around a little bit to, and when you're making a movie and you're making it off a book, that's why books and movies are so different from one another. You have the basis of what you're going to do with the movie, based on a true story from falling from the sky, but you have to do little things to keep people's interest, because reading a book is one thing, watching it on a big screen is another. So the way we did our twists and turns, part of this is going to be filmed in the Bahamas, and because of the grants and the funding that we're getting, we have to use 75% of it here in the state of Florida, or at least in this area, the Southeast regional area. But 25% of it can go elsewhere, and that 25% is what, when I was over there a few months ago helping out with the Bahamian people and the Prime Minister, is where we want to kind of put that 25% in getting the movie industry back. Nassau is Pirates Island, that's what it means, and it's just kind of why everybody was at Gasparilla this past weekend, being their pirate thing. I was at Pirates Island doing my pirate thing. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
that's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. So we're talking with Captain Will Smith here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Some other things that are topical right now too is in a part 2 of your books is the strategy of helping to reduce the recidivism rate. When folks come out, they need to go through a process and kind of get reacclimated back into society. So you're working with Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons, free to serve on Facebook. Cons Helping Cons, free to serve on Facebook, and we've interviewed him. We allow a certain amount of our show topics for nonprofit organizations, companies that may not have funding to bring it to be on air like this. So we allow that. And Thomas King's just been Thomas Young, because Thomas King is great too. Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons, has been just really a pleasure to get to know and interview. Yeah, and we had a meeting today. We do have for End of the Recidivism Act rate. Thomas Young and I were on that Zoom call this morning at 10 with Julia Pauls, and we also had the head prosecutor of the state of Florida. We had people from Bill Billirakis' office on there. So there's a lot of people, just not in Pasco, Hillsborough, Pinellas County, but statewide, that are getting involved on helping with this transition. Yep. And where the system is broken is once you go serve your time, whether it's 2 years or 20 years, after a certain period of time, you become institutionalized. Right. You're used to always looking over your shoulder. You're used to always thinking someone's going to try to take something from you. And when you transition from the defense to when you come out to society, you're still thinking that's what's going to happen. And where the letdown is when you kick someone out of prison, you don't give them any platform to rise above, they're going to fail and go back to prison. Yeah. So one of my books was Ditches to Riches. I saw that there was an issue in the system. I was fortunate enough to where I had people, that were helping me, but I still had lost everything that I had. I still was sleeping on a friend's couch, but I just had some type of support. And the biggest part is I had a friend's couch to sleep on. Yeah. Some of these guys come out and they're homeless. Yeah. And they give them a $50 check and send them to the bus station. Well, what are they going to do with that $50 check at the bus station? Probably buy some drugs. Right. And they're going to go right back to what put them there 10 or 15 years prior. Yeah, it's tough. Housing, jobs, that's the big thing. Thomas has, Cons Helping to help with both, getting people into a living situation, living quarters, also getting into an employment, a gainful employment, hoping to reduce that recidivism rate that we talk about, helping create a positive environment, keep those folks out of those prison systems and going back into prison. So, good stuff. When we come back, more with Captain Will Smith here, we're going to talk about Will's Way Foundation and also more about some of the national politics that you're seeing. Joe Rogan, censorship, they're pushing for censorship on Spotify and, of course, other places with this ridiculous woke mob that we're facing here today. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. Follow us on iTunes and our Spotify podcast as well. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator. and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Johnny, you good?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. This segment is brought to you by Discovery Golf Cars, longtime friends of the program, formerly known as Golf Car Depot. They've got 2 locations here in Tampa Bay, Clearwater and Tampa location. They got some awesome looking golf carts too nowadays. If you haven't seen them, check them out. DiscoveryGolfCars.com. Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman. They've got new and pre-owned as well as you can rent or buy. Discovery Golf Cars. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard. This is a $1.7 million listing of mine. A great opportunity to own real estate and develop real estate here in Tampa Bay. So forward this show out to any of your friends that are in real estate and development. This would be something they would want to know about. 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard. It's almost a 7-acre parcel, zone C2. So that's commercial, general commercial. And it's also waterfront. It's on lake frontage on Lake Helen. And you have a great opportunity here for an assisted living facility or maybe even some boutique hotel or some storage. So I think 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard would be a great investment opportunity. You know, people are looking for hedges against inflation because inflation is coming. And there's a lot of folks talking about that and against, you know, where can you store your value, right? Where can you best store your dollar value? It's not sitting in cash. It's probably getting into real estate. We interview with Shane Socash, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. He talks about, you know, some folks are putting it into precious metals and other types of collectibles. But this is a great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And we got Captain Will Smith here in studio with me, and we're kind of jiving here about all things, you know, real estate, and we talk a lot about aviation when he's on the program. We got this movie that we're doing together, Falling from the Sky movie. Real excited to be on that trip, on that journey with him. We're working with David Yates as well as former CEO of the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Very successful track record, multiple movies now under his belt, including Dolphin Tale 1 and 2, and then others that he's currently filming right now here in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he's got a lot. They have a lot coming up. They're slated for 10 this year, rolling into next year. And he still has Dolphin's Tale Productions. He still runs things through there, but he's also working directly with Hallmark and the, I believe, the Movie Channel or Lifetime Movie Network. And with the Hallmark, the one they're getting ready to film, they just pushed that one back. It was supposed to start February 13th, and our investors kind of did dip their toe into the investment reality of movie making here in Florida, helped out with that, and that's with Cedric the Entertainer and Ashanti, the singer. And that's going to be a romantic comedy. It's going to be filmed in the Pinellas County area, and we have the great opportunity to go down there and see them once they started filming. They pushed it back a little bit due to a couple things. One of the main reasons it fit Cedric's schedule a little bit better, and then of course we just came through the sniffy nose syndrome that everybody was all panicky about. That was another thing that pushed it back. But starting March, they're going to be filming that, and it gives us the opportunities to because we've got VIP tickets that I'd like to talk about with our sponsorships. So we're looking for Tampa Bay now to get involved. They had the period of time of being an investment for an ROI. Now it's a sponsorship. Well, the sponsorships are going to we've got 10 VIP tickets to the Tampa Bay Movie Festival that's coming up. So this is something that is going to be included with the sponsorship. So if you want to get your name and be a part of what we're doing and be a part of the foundation at the beginning of the movie industry building back up here in Florida, now is your time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now's your time to be a sponsor and get involved and get some of these VIP tickets and come to some of these showings and watch how the film is made.
So local business owners can get involved. They can start showing up at some of the events, getting tickets, being there. I've also heard at some of the backstage functions and on set potentially to see some of the shooting.
They can come on, see some of the shooting. They can be there and have dinner and have lunch with the actors. And then of course you get your red carpet VIP tickets to the main movie festival that happens here each year.
Some of the shooting, I'm talking about filming the movie, not Alec Baldwin type shooting.
Yes, we're not doing that shooting.
We're going to be real careful on set, right? Hey, we're producers now, too, man. Right? So you got to make sure. So talking with Captain Will Smith here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to talk a little bit about this piece that really caught my eye. I listen to a lot of podcasts, kind of get information. The mainstream media is not the place to get it anymore, right? Of course. So I listen to podcasts to get information on what's really happening. I mean, there's still a lot of talks about decertification of the 2020 election out there. There's also a tech analyst and a portfolio manager. I'm going to play the clip here from one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to with Steve. This is Steve Bannon podcast. Listen to what this tech manager is predicting will be happening very soon as this is all coming to a head with the lockdowns, the economy, the inflation. Check this out.
I started my career after going to Notre Dame at HSBC Securities in Chicago. Selling fixed income securities, treasuries, mortgage backs, all sorts of different types of things. So I learned the capital markets at a very young age, specifically the credit markets. Went back to business school, wanted to get into equities. Ended up at DLJ for 2 years in equity research, doing electric utilities, where I witnessed the dot-com boom and some malfeasance that went on all over the place. Then I moved up to Boston, where I joined Independence Investments as a tech investor. Tech analyst. I was one of the outspoken ones saying this is a bubble and things are going to end poorly. And because of that and being early, I was able to leverage that into a job at BlackRock as a portfolio manager in 2002. And I worked there for 10 years until 2012, running a large cap growth portfolio. We took the product from $2 billion to $14 billion because our track record was excellent. So I've seen three what I call three frauds: the corporate fraud of the dot-com boom, the bank fraud of the great financial recession, and I believe the fraud has moved down to central banks and governments because that's the nature of our monetary system. You have to constantly create credit to keep this thing going.
So that's exactly what they're doing. They're creating credit. It's rolling on, and inflation is going to be setting in. It's already setting in. So it's a tax on the poor. It's a tax on the middle class. These upper echelon elites. These government, folks that have been in there for 47 years. The Biden, Pelosi's, and it's both sides. It's both sides. It's the uniparty, the same ones that want us to go to war right now so they can feed the military-industrial complex. Those are the people that are orchestrating this. And it's what more importantly, it's the first time in the history of the planet that it's really coordinated globally, all at the same time. You ever notice that?
I noticed that.
Yeah, they all use the same talking points. So, what's your takeaway from that? Gosh, I don't know. That's above my pay grade. Well, my takeaway would be safe with your money, get liquid, be very safe with your investments, and just be ready to react and see what happens.
Yeah, you got to be able to roll with it. And I noticed some of from the world organizations around are starting to pull away from this narrative. The UK just recently just said, hey, we're not doing this mask mandate crap anymore.
Yes.
We're not doing any of this all these mandates. Boris Johnson, he's sick of it.
Yep.
And I think the people over in the United Kingdom are sick of it, and it's starting to catch now because now Ireland is going through down the same. Hey, we're tired of this. Now we see the corruption, how deep it goes, how it's global now, and then the biggest thing that scares the heck out of me. We were talking about it off the air was China's going around buying up real estate.
Yeah, farmland.
In Jamaica, Cuba, Venezuela. Right here in our own backyard.
United States.
And I can't believe it. And I cannot believe they're allowing that to happen.
And Google and Facebook supporting them.
That's got to stop.
NBA supporting them.
Yeah, that's got to stop.
Big companies. Yeah, unbelievable. And then also look at what's happening in Canada right now as well. I mean, it's really cool to see. I heard there was record numbers with the Canadian convoy, and then the truck drivers, and I heard there was record numbers GoFundMe account.
Yes,
I think it was something like $10 million.
That they can do this for the next 2 years if they wanted to. That's how much money they raised.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Good stuff. So back to a local reach here. This is a local show. We like to touch on these national and worldwide things happening because it is pretty crazy out there what's happening. But we've got Captain Will Smith in studio. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And talk to us a little bit about, we kind of touched on the recidivism rate, and then now you got this new foundation called Will's Way.
Yes. Well, the reason I started Will's Way Foundation, those were a couple. One is when you create a foundation organization, it's something that somebody can grow with.
Yeah.
So we wanted to create a foundation, make it a 501c3. And one of the big things that we talk about constantly about people returning to civilian life is, one, homelessness, and two, drug addiction. Those are the two big things. So what we do with the foundation is we get, have people donate to the foundation, and we want to start something, even if it's small as renting a home, to where we can turn that home into where we can house 6 or 7 people as they're going through their transition.
Yeah.
So they kind of, back in the day, used to call it a halfway house. But we want to do something where they come in and they have something of their own. They have a support team. And most importantly, Brandon, they have a family. So these guys can feel like family. And then they can also mentor other people that are coming out.
Yep.
And while they're working on that as a foundation and a basis of making themselves better and creating goals for themselves, they're going to be helping others that are coming out. They're going to have the opportunity to start their own business if they want. They're going to have the opportunity to have that family nucleus, which is huge right now.
Yeah.
We got to stop sending these young men out thinking that they're not part of a family, because this is where they don't find themselves until they go to prison.
Yeah.
That's when they find themselves. That's when they pick up the good book and start reading it and realize, hey, I've been ignored. I haven't had anybody to look up to as a father. Or maybe mom wasn't around because she's working 2 jobs.
Right.
Because why? It all goes back to the same root of evil, the government. Trying to break that up, trying to take the Bible out of our schools, trying to demasculate men, and taking the fathers away from the family. Well,
and
when you do that,
programs were a lot of that.
Exactly.
The welfare programs.
Exactly. We'll give you all the free money you want as long as daddy's not around.
Yep.
What kind of crap is that?
Yeah, married to the government. That's
Exactly.
what happens. Good points, and that's a good.
And we're trying to turn that. We're trying to turn that around with Will's Way Foundation, along with Cons Helping Cons, along with In the Recidivism Rate. We just want everybody around to get more involved. And I know a lot of people have the attitude, not in my backyard, but we're creating areas where they can stay and they can build trust back in the community.
Yeah, that's good. And if you want to support that and support the show, 813-917-1894. You can call or text 813-917-1894. Of course, support Will Smith Aviation, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, and we're the good guys here in Tampa Bay helping out in a lot of different places. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to touch on our feel-good story of the day. Every day we tell you something positive here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Gaither High School Inclusivity Program teaches students with special needs valuable business skills. We'll be right back after this short break. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in
813-917-1894.
Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing. Check out consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894. 1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Got a hot listing on Oak Avenue in Palm Harbor. This is a vacant lot available for sale. You can build your dream home on the canal with access to Lake Tarpon. Waterfront lot. Build your dream home right here. It's about $180,000 for this nice lot. And you could boat to lunch or dinner over at the Tarpon Turtle and enjoy the 2,500-acre Lake Tarpon at Oak Avenue in Palm Harbor. Beautiful waterfront lot that we've got available here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75. Something good.
All right, so this is our feel-good story. Students also use their skills to help the homeless. So this is Estrelle Farias, and her students are running a very profitable business at Tampa's Gaither High School. Chips, cookies, delicious drinks, even homemade pillows and aprons. They sell it all to a loyal fan base of teachers and kids. And they're quoted as saying, "We took our business and made it very huge." Each of her co-workers, all whom are teenagers with intellectual disabilities, has a job to do, whether it's sewing, accounting, selling, or ordering new product. This is the 12-Plus program, which prepares students with special needs who have already graduated from high school for future careers. 12-Plus also stresses inclusivity, as the students have formed relationships with traditional students at Gaither that they interact with every day. The program helps them buy into their futures, but it also teaches them humility, and that's not everyone that not everyone gets in their life. Farias said. It's a phenomenal educator doing a great job. And they're currently sewing and stuffing a little love bags for the homeless. Cute travel bags filled with soap, socks, toothpaste, and more. I'm really happy I could help the homeless, said JJ, one of the 12-plus students. So there's a cool story out of Gaither High School right here in the local community, Tampa Bay. So that's awesome. Our feel-good story of the day. And Captain Will Smith in studio, Will Smith Aviation. Check them out online as well, willsmithaviation.com. And I'm Brandon Rhymes. I'm your host here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So some of the other topics that I've got written down here, you've got your books. You're doing some speaking also at some of these prisons. You're going into the prisons and speaking and trying to help out with the outreach portion of Falling from the Sky, and then also Ditches to Riches, one of your other books.
That's correct. So I go to the local prison here is in Pasco County, Zephyr Hills, and that's the prison that you go to right before you're released back into society. So there's not that many guards around. It's just you're getting ready for your transfer. Well, I took Ditches to Riches, like, we need to create a workbook. They can read it, but if they're not doing something with that.
Right.
And when I was in
item.
school, we had workbooks, and the workbook went with the textbook.
Yeah.
So I created this workbook for them to where they could identify who they are, where they are, and what their goals would be.
Yeah.
If you come out of an institution with no goals, what's going to happen? You're not going to go anywhere. Why? Because you're not going to have anything to work towards.
Yeah.
So I created, it's a 4-week program to where they decide, okay, this is what I always loved to do. This is what I always wanted to do. If I had the opportunity to go back 20 years and change things, what would I change? What would I say to that 20-year-old if I'm coming out of prison when I'm 40?
Yeah.
What advice would I give to him? That's what the workbook's about. So they're actually really having an opportunity through the workbook to go back in time and say to that 20-year-old, this is what you should do.
Yeah,
but they're getting
thought-provoking.
yes, but they're getting that second chance, and they can still do it. They might be doing it at 40 instead of 20, but they still have that chance that they should have had 20 years ago before they fell. So that's the reason I created that workbook. Another exciting thing is I've been getting more emails now about people that have read the book, or it's been handed to them, or they found it in their libraries in prisons. The latest one was in Georgia.
Nice.
I had a young man's father reach out to me, and he says, yeah, we got one of your books here. And I don't know how it got there, but it got into that prison system. And they are getting ready to be released. So they said, we understand we have a workbook. We'd like our son to use that workbook.
Nice.
So it's starting to spread slowly but surely, but people are seeing that there's a need for this out there. That's why I created it. I just need to really raise it up to the next level, to where we're going and traveling to prisons all over Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, and helping these young men and women that are coming out. Hey, there's a better way. You don't have to go back what put you in here to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big
You're getting
thing,
a
man.
second chance,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Taking some of your valuable time and giving it back. That's what a lot more people need to do. Yeah. I love that idea. Yeah, and it's it's an interesting time right now too, because there's so many challenging things out there, and it's easy to get kind of sucked into the negativity that's kind of swirling from Washington D.C. and other places. But that's a positive. I mean, that's a bright light in the center of and many times it can be seen as a dark place, for people.
Yep, it is.
Yep, that's awesome.
That's their darkest hour. So we're shedding light on that and giving them a second chance.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And also. There's pretty cool stuff going on with the name, image, likeness, with NCAA student athletes. That's pretty cool. I've been talking with Mike Murphy about that. He's got that going. And I just joined Keller Williams Real Estate. We have now a sports and entertainment division. Okay. So that's pretty neat. I'm looking into, having some more conversations around that. And that fits in well with the movie.
Yep.
A lot, with Falling from the Sky, the movie, some pretty cool stuff happening around that space. And so we appreciate all the support from the folks out there, from the program. Lots of people reaching out, supporting our show. I want to remind you how the show works. It's that hub of the financial wheel, the real estate wheel, all of those spokes extending out, especially for home services. Reach out to our hotline. We'd love to connect with you and put you in touch with all of our expert contributors. I asked James, our producer, to give me a list of our updated list. I mean, we've got some really awesome expert contributors, everything from, of course, mortgage and finance and insurance to some great attorneys associated with the show. Lots of great attorneys that can help in almost every little niche that there is in law. So reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Just call the hotline. We'd love to connect with you. We've got a great CPA/attorney, Michelle James, appraisers, all types of home services here as well. Self-defense experts, tech experts as well. Nate Ginter with Vine IT, they're very impressive. Just some really good folks that are associated. Auto industry, we just talked about Mike Murphy. So any questions about the auto industry, self-defense with Alex Lima, alternative investments, of course, lots of area business owners that own their own companies, of course, but are related to home services. So reach out, 813-917-1894. Just call or text the hotline. We'd love to connect with you and put you in touch with all of our expert contributors that can help you save time and money when it comes to your buying decisions. That's what we established this show almost a decade ago now as a consumer advocate-based program. So it's all about helping people, Will. Helping people understand their buying decisions, making them more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Yep. And if people want to, your listening audience wants to know how to help even further, I mean, you can always go to CaptainWillSmith.com. You can see how the movie's going, books on Amazon. If you need us to come speak at, even with the younger generation, just reach out to me. They've got your number, they've got my number. And for the ones that are, on the right track, they just don't know what they want to do, Will Smith Aviation, check that out as well if I can help. I've helped a lot of mothers and fathers guide their child in the right direction in the aviation industry. So there's plenty of information out there and resources for your listeners to take advantage of and get. And one of the big things is get involved with this movie industry. You're not going to regret it. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to be able to brag to your friends. It's going to be an awesome thing.
Yeah, that's cool. What about, let's give out maybe 2 or 3 books if people text in, we give them a book.
Absolutely.
So call or text in Captain Will Smith. He's got a couple books you can choose from. You can choose from Falling from the Sky. That's the movie that we're producing. Tells his life story. Ditches to Riches, kind of that up and coming out of a down adversity type situation, coming out of that. And then I'll throw in my book too if somebody wants quarterbacking success. This is my latest book I wrote. Probably finished it up 2 or 3 months ago about how to win in real estate. So reach out. We'll give you a book up to the first 3 listeners that call in or text in, 813-917-1894. Captain Will Smith has his books. Of course, you can go on Amazon and buy them right there as well. We'll give you a free one if you want to reach out to the show and support the show. We're always looking for great realtors that might want to join our team also. So that's kind of our first step is, hey, check out the book, Quarterbacking Success, how we can help you do that. Think and grow your multi-million-dollar real estate empire. So that's... Final thoughts, back to you. Got about a minute left.
Well, as we're starting off this new year, Brandon, there's a lot of positive things going on, especially right here in good old Tampa Bay. But there's nothing ever wrong with reaching out and helping another person achieve their goals. And at the end of the day, that's, I think that's what we're all invested in. We can make our own successes, but what's more importantly, where you get noticed is when you help other people create their own successes. And that's I think that's what we all as human beings should be focused focused on.
Yeah, that's why I love teaching classes too. I like getting more involved with that. I'm reaching out to the other market centers. I'm going to start teaching throughout the state with Keller Williams Realty and teaching that win with sellers class, something I'm really good at and have that skill set. So teaching, they always say teaching other people to fish, right?
Right.
Then they have that they'll never have to go without eating in a sense. So I love that metaphor for life as well, and that's good stuff. So, all right, hey, another great show. I want to thank Captain Will Smith. Check him out online. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter. Captain Will Smith out there as well on Facebook. Got Falling from the Sky page on Facebook as well, and also the Spotify. You can go to Spotify. So in the news now with Rogan and some of the censorship going on, but Joe Rogan's going to do fine. He's got 11 million average listeners to his podcast, and some of these guys like Neil Young and whatever the other girl's name was, there has been in their 70s. Joe Rogan's coming up
here today, gone tomorrow.
Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, and we'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.